pass is hanging out as he makes a break upfield. Stepping back. Oh, he's copped a head right to the nuts. Cameron Munster's now putting his balls in Nick Meaney's face.
I have no idea what the wasted world of sports is.
Wasted World of Sports, ahoy! How is everybody doing? We've got your Sunday ticket right here. The Newcastle Knights, who are on fire on Sunday afternoons against my Cronulla Sharks. I'm very concerned, Vobsy. I'm very concerned. UFC, OnlyFans, ahoy there, mate. Hellfire, Paintball, Salt, Ash. New South Wales, Australia, ahoy, and welcome along. I'm very worried. This is going to be a big one in the context of the season. Now, the huge story, of course, to come out of this game. He's back. Oh, dear God, he's back. Matt Moylan in the squad, starting, replacing Nicho Hynes, and that is probably the killer blow, really, for the Sharks in this game. I would love for the Sharks to win, and I have honestly tipped them because I need to try and make up some space at the top of the ladder. So fingers crossed that Matt Moylan decides to have one of his good games today. One of his once every few years good games. But that is a huge, huge out for the Sharks. Hynes out, Matt Moylan in. Ugh. Game ML, ahoy! Robert M. I like it, Robert M. Although 1 to 12, honestly, is a little bit too close for comfort. But that is the big story here. Nicho Hynes, of course, out. A massive, massive out for the Sharks. Matt Moylan moved into the starting squad. Matt Moylan moves into 5'8". Braden Trindle shifts from 5'8" to halfback. So it'll be interesting to see how they cope with that. If you were in the chat for the last 10 minutes of the Broncos game, last night someone would have been cursed out by me, 100%. Who? Not me. Viking Axe, Knights for the win, Dan. I suspect you're probably right. Nicho Hynes is a massive, massive loss for the Sharks. Just a sec. Got to fix my lights up there. That's a bit better. Tyrese Richmond, ahoy. Oh, the refereeing. Hey, first and foremost, let me just say, the Raiders did not do themselves any favours whatsoever. Let's be honest about that. Standing there watching kickoffs go over the dead ball line, the simple mistakes that they were making. Okay, they clearly didn't help themselves. But my God, some of those refereeing calls that went the Broncos' way were just... Very rarely am I speechless. I was many times throughout the course of that stream just in front of the camera, a state of absolute disbelief. AFBOCC, ahoy there, mate. How are you doing? The Bulldogs have allowed 735 points in 23 games this year. I believe. Possibly a bottom 10 defensive record. All-time bottom 10. Well, actually, we can look it up. We can go to the NRL ladder right now. And it might not... The NRL ladder, granted, it might not be up to date. And we can see what they've done this year. So, the Bulldogs... the Bulldogs against 735. A minus 327 points differential. My goodness. That is insanity. But yes, Nicho Hynes is out. That's the big news here. The late mail is, I don't know if it's a fully blown serious injury, and now he's just being rested. It could just be a niggle, and they're resting him to play it safe because they're going to need him for the finals. I'll see if I can get some late mail on that exactly, because he was listed to play all the way up until today, I believe. NRL late mail, here we go. The Knights will be without Jackson Hastings for the second straight week. And, okay, halfback Nicho Hynes has been ruled out of the game after picking up a quad injury at training. Matt Moylan has moved into the halves. Jesse Colehorn has joined the bench. So there we go. He's picked up a little niggle at training. Rather not risk him, I suppose, for the finals. Keep him on ice. As Wade Graham leads the Sharks out onto the field. Now, this is a big, big game in the context of the season for both teams. This, in my opinion, probably determines fifth spot on the ladder. If the Sharks win this game, they will cement themselves into fifth spot, regardless of the outcome of next week's game. If Newcastle win, I think they will leapfrog the Sharks into fifth spot, and the Sharks playing the Raiders in the final round, a team that they have not beaten in the last 9 or 10 attempts. They might find it hard to jump back over the top, and I'm not too sure who the Knights have in the last round, but I'm sure we can look that up and find it out. But I believe this is the battle for fifth. Then again, for the Sharks and the Knights, both teams could mathematically still fall out of the finals. A lot would have to go against the Sharks for that to happen, but it could still happen. So a massive game on many levels, and so it's very disappointing that there's no Nicho Hynes. But who knows? Maybe I'll go easy on Matt Moylan a little bit tonight. Maybe he'll get the job done. We can only hope. Both teams out on the field now. You want the Sharks to win as we get underway. The Knights with the kickoff. There is my 4-leg multi for this game. Come on, NRL website. Hurry up. Shack of Hearts around the grounds. Wests lost to Brothers in the Hospitals Cup Grand Final. Take the 3. 3 words. Take the 3. That's not updating. I don't understand why. Vobsy says, I want the Sharks to win because then the Storm have more to play for against the Broncos. I don't think... Yeah. Stephanie, stay funny, Steph. Ahoy. I'm not too sure. I reckon the Storm rest a lot of players next week against the Broncos, since in every likelihood they're playing the Broncos at Suncorp again the very next week in week 1 of the finals. So I could see Bellamy resting some players, and they'll really be targeting that week 1 of the finals. So I'm actually going to make a bold prediction about that game next week. A bold prediction that the winner of next weekend's game, Broncos versus Melbourne, the winner of that game will actually lose the game in week 1 of the finals. That's my bold prediction to come out of next week. Down to Connor Tracy now. Both teams have got through their first set unfazed. Oh, this is a very nerve-wracking experience for me. This is a big, big game for the Sharks. McKid King, ahoy! They're up over halfway. They're inside Knights territory. So let's go. Greg Marju, Ronaldo Mulatalo, Brenton Nakora, and Kalen Ponga, who has a lot of success against the Sharks. Son of a bitch always seems to play well against the Sharkies. Fifth and last now. Moylan with his first kick of the day. Mulatalo's up, taps it back. Trindle's got it. He's caught. He fires it away, and the Knights are off upfield. That was loose. It's a disastrous start, a disastrous end of set for the Sharks. And now the Knights have got some serious momentum. And the penalty to boot, it's going to take them even further upfield. And by God, that disintegrated quickly for the Sharkies. Darmain Camisa, bonjour. Welcome along. Another preseason NFL game was called early due to a player suffering a serious injury and being carted off the field. Well, that's no good. That's terrible to hear. As the Knights rumble into Sharks territory, 10 out from the line here in midfield. It'll be a dream start for the home team. 10 out from the line, Crossland to Saifidi. The goal line defense of the Sharks has been atrocious all season long. And there are some gaps out wide here as Trindle now backtracking. And they must score here, the Knights. Dominic Young scores in the corner. The goal line defense continues to be atrocious from the Sharks. And now, a very alarming start to this game. The ease with which the Knights got upfield and scored that try. Another Sunday afternoon special coming up for the home team. They were numbered up there, the Sharks. I have no idea how the Knights created that overlap. Braden Trindle's gone racing up out of the line and then has been forced to backtrack. And that's forced everybody else to come in field and cover off the space that he left. Let's have a look here. Has Dom Young got it down? Oh, it's simultaneous. If it's simultaneous, it's a try, right? It's gone up as a try. Mr. Ed's dead, ahoy. We are still waiting for confirmation on this try, but there we go. They're numbered up there, the Sharks. It's 3-on-3. They actually had 4 defenders on 3 Knights attackers. I'm struggling to see how they managed to get an overlap there, the Knights. And Ashley Klein blows his whistle, and we are going to have a closer look there at the Dominic Young foot. It was simultaneous. I thought simultaneous benefit of the doubt would go to the attacking team. We might also have to have a cheeky little look at that contact from Braden Trindle. Simultaneous grounding is in touch. And it will be no try and Sharks. But what amazing goal line defense there from Braden Trindle. Unbelievable. No, in all honesty, I still don't understand how they created an overlap there. Yeah, there were 4 Sharks defenders on 3 Knights attackers, and the Knights managed to get a man advantage on the outside. A shambles it is. A bloody shambles. The Sharks get a lifeline. A big, big let off. And the start of this game, some very concerning early signs from my Sharkies. I must admit, the 5th tackle options, atrocious. The goal line defense, once again, atrocious. Now Dominic Young, he's coughed this one up, and the Sharks just stand back and watch it. Now the knock-on is called. It's called both ways. Knock-on both ways is called. Vobsy says Dom Young's foot is bigger than my love for Matt Lodge, the greatest rugby league player of all time. UFC OnlyFam says, can you make some Daddy Cash merch? I suppose I could. I wonder what that shirt would be. I wonder what the design would be on that one. Anyway, sloppy start here for the Sharks. And it's the Knights with the ball again. They've got shape and space out to the right, but it's been coughed up, and the Sharks will have it on halfway. A 0 tackle. Can they actually do something with it, though? 40 out from the line. A picture of me and Pat Cash. Well, there is a photo of me and Pat Cash, because you know I met him once. 20 out now, Sharks. Lined up out to the right, but Connor Tracy slips into the tackle. Couldn't keep his feet. Rudolph in midfield, just settling things down. In front of the post here on tackle 4. Trindle delays the pass out the back to Connor Tracy. Connor Tracy has scored. The Sharks will get the first try, assuming that Connor Tracy has not gone into touch here. An almost mirror image of Dom Young down the other end. But Connor Tracy has surely stayed in the field of play here, and the Sharks are on the board first. Oh, maybe. Watch that right arm. Watch Connor's right arm here. Does he get it down? Does he get it down? Yes, he does. Try confirmed. Connor Tracy, I almost put him in my multi as well. Son of a bitch. Vobsy says he has small feet. That's a try for sure. At least the Sharks, they have not really been impacted that much by the injury absence of Will Kennedy. I mean, honestly, we haven't missed Will Kennedy at all, have we? Connor Tracy has just come in and torn it up. He's doing well. Braden Trindle is controlling this game. The more that he is involved and the less that Matt Moylan has to say in the actual sequences of play, the better it will be for the Sharks. Likewise, Vobsy. Likewise. As Trindle from the sideline, it's on target, and the Sharks are up 6 points to 0, and that silences the home crowd just a little bit. The battle for 5th spot on the ladder is off to a flyer. Yes, poor old Will Kennedy. He was having a decent enough season. It's amazing the depth that the Sharks have to be able to bring Connor Tracy. And Connor Tracy, who has been stuck in reserve grade, basically, for the whole season, waiting for his chance, and he's taken it. Well and truly. Hamlin ULA from the kickoff. He is lifted and driven backwards, but he still maintains his feet. McInnes putting in a lot of work early again. He's an absolute workhorse, that boy. Solid defense in midfield again by the Knights. Keeping the Sharks pinned down here. Tackle 4, still not up to the halfway line. Now they're up over the halfway line with Connor Tracy having another great dart, injecting himself into the back line again. Trindle, they're going to run it here on the 5th, the Sharks. Graham, cut out pass to Mulatalo. Mulatalo puts a terrible kick through, and Ponga swoops on it. and goes into contact. That was a terrible kick from Mulatalo. And once more, the Sharks' fifth tackle options just not yielding any result whatsoever. Al Urus. Although I am a Penrith fan, I have respect for Newcastle and the dad's family supporting Knights since league became popular in Newcastle. Yeah, I've got nothing against the Knights. Fifth and last here, Newcastle just inside Sharks territory. That's a decent kick, and that's a great chase. And Connor Tracy falls into the contact from Frizzell. He went straight to ground, anticipating the contact there. Talakai taking a charge upfield. Vopsy says Connor Tracy is a halfback in Rugby League Live 4. There you go. He's got a little bit of utility value, Vopsy. So maybe he can play halfback. Fifth and last, only 24 metres gained on that set, the Sharks. And now this is a shocking kick. Again, straight down the throat of Dominic Young. And this could be their undoing here, the Sharks. The fifth tackle options just continue to be questionable at best. Questionable at best, disastrous at worst. Shack of Hearts, yes, Matt Moylan in the number 17 jersey. In for the injured Nico Hines. And if Nico Hines is out for a prolonged period of time, that will pretty much be the season for the Sharks as the kick and chase is on, and Connor Tracy gets back, dives on the loose ball, but the Knights will get a goal line dropout here and a result. And there is the difference. The kicking options of the Knights pinning the Sharks in their own in goal. The Sharks' kicking options have gifted the Knights about 10 or 15 free meters every time. 6 points to nil it remains, though, for the Sharks. They've gone short here, way too short. Way too short. And this is a gift 2 points out in front if they want it. I don't understand it, the tactics. You're 6 points to nil up. 12 minutes into the game, and you're doing short dropouts. It makes no sense to me at all. And you've now given away a gift 2 points. If they want it. They don't want it. They tap and they go. They want the 6. They don't want to take the 2. They want the 6. And when your goal line defense is as shocking as the Sharks have been all season, a short dropout makes absolutely no sense in any aspect or any situation of the game. Can they hold firm this time, though? Yes, they can, because there's an error in the play of the ball. Leo Thompson. Oh, I wish I had my What a Goof shirt on right now. The brand new Wasted Water Sports What a Goof t-shirt would be perfect to be wearing that right now. That is a big mistake from the home team. Another massive let-off for the Sharks inside their own territory. And now they walk away with nothing, AFBOCC, indeed. See, always take the 2. McInnes to Hamlin ULA. And this is much better from the Sharks. Up to the 40. Now Trindle. Graham running the inside line. Takes it up over halfway. On tackle 4. Brayley from dummy half. McInnes again. They're 30 out now, the Sharks. What can they come up with? Fifth and last. Trindle is standing down the short side. Puts it high into the air. That's a better kick. Ponga comes forward and takes it. And he is wrapped up as soon as he hits the ground. But that's a great take at the back there from Ponga. And again, the Sharks getting no results out of their fifth tackle kicks. Very, very difficult to watch. Oh, we could be in for a war of attrition here. These two teams. The Knights, I would say, just looking a little bit better, even though they are behind 6 points to 0, they are getting themselves in attacking range a lot easier. Fifth and last now, inside their own half. The kick down to Tracy. Tracy returns it 25 out from his own line. Sharks ball. Mulatalo's back there. No, that's Katoa. Katoa with the hit up. Sharks forwards a bit slow to get back here. There's Mulatalo. This time finds some space out to the right. But he's gone a long way across field. Not a lot of meters made forward. Ramian now on tackle 4. Just maneuvers things back over into the midfield. Rudolph, that's better. Head down, bum up, charging forward, Toby Rudolph. Fifth and last, 35 out. Again on their short side, Trindle puts it high, and again, nowhere near deep enough. The Sharks tap it back, and Crossland is there. And once again, they've surrendered a good 15 meters off a kicking play. It's just disastrous. What can I say? The kicking. They're just destroying themselves here, the Sharks, with this kicking game. So instead of starting the set inside their own 20, the Knights start from about the 40-meter line. Just not good enough. And up over halfway they go. Saifidi takes the tackle, fifth and last. Now look at the difference of the kick, the chase, and Tracy is hammered. And on the back of a much better kicking game, the Sharks are starting the set 10 out from their own line, and that's the difference. That's where the Knights are right on top at the moment. Vopsy says at least Mulatalo kept his arms in the field of play. There's Matt Moylan taking a hit up. What the hell was that all about? Getting involved, I suppose. Now Tracy, show and go, nearly sneaks through a couple of forwards. They're back up to halfway. Trindle. That's a better kick, but it's straight down to Dom Young. And that is a better result for the Sharks. One of their better results from a fifth tackle kicking option. Both teams just going back and forth here, trading sets. Pretty much playing it in between the 40-meter lines. Frizzell takes it just up over halfway. Gamble. Another good kick. Another good chase here for the Knights. And the Sharks again. Trapped 15 out from their own line on the kick return. The next mistake by either team will be massive, I dare say, as we approach 17 and a half minutes. Oh, that's terrible. Wade Graham. Well, there is the first mistake. That is the worst pass I've ever seen in my entire existence. And I've put the jinx on them. Where was he trying to pass that? I mean, that would have been forward. Even if it wasn't knocked on, it was forward. That was terrible. I had just called it. I put the mocker on them. I said the next mistake by either team could be massive. And now the Knights, a full set of 6 here. 30 meters out. Ponga steps. He's taken. And he's put down in a 2-man tackle. The Knights Big set of 6 here. Can they strike back? Crossland goes down the short side. Ponga puts on the goose step. Ponga loses it. It's 6 more tackles. He's lost it backwards. It's been touched by the Sharks. And it's a full set of 6 now. 10 out from the line in front of the post. The Sharks. Crossland down the short side again. He gets it on the support play. Crossland. Nowhere to go. Now they've got numbers to burn out on the right. They've got them short again, but cutting back in field. Dane Gagai. Dominic Young was unmarked outside you, mate. Pass the ball. Well, don't, because I'm not going for your team, but they're holding on so far. And now going for the intercept. Jesse Ramian spills the ball. He went for all the glory there, Jesse Ramian. The intercept was on. He just could not hold on to the ball. And it's going to be another full set of 6 here for the Knights. It was an all-or-nothing play, and he comes up with nothing. But at least it saved a try. There was a dead-set certain try out there. If he doesn't get hands on that ball, it's 3-on-1. More pressure incoming for the Sharks, though, holding on to this 6-0 lead, but that is all they are doing. They are just holding on. Tyson Gamble taken on tackle 1, 10 out. Crossland slotting into playmaker again. And just moving things back in towards the post. Now shape out to the left again. Ponga will go on his own and score. Kalen Ponga, I told you. Kalen Ponga has absolute blinders against the Sharks each and every time. And there is the first leg of the multi ticked off. And Kalen Ponga has just cruised over there. Who's he run through here? Moylan. Yep. Kalen Ponga has looked up, seen Matt Moylan, and said, thank you very much. And Matt Moylan, with missed tackle number 7,439 of the season, gifts the Knights 4 points through Kalen Ponga. We're about to be all square here, pending a successful conversion. It had to happen. They had to break. The Knights have had about 50 tackles down inside the Sharks' 10-metre line, and they had to break eventually. Bloody Matt Moylan. Oh, Kalen Ponga, his eyes lit up when he saw Moylan there in the defensive line. So thank you very much, kind sir. I will take that. Six points to 4. Conversion from Ponga to convert his own try. It's hooking back perfectly. It is right down the middle. It is Cronulla 6, Kalen Ponga 6. All square. 17.5 minutes to go until the halftime break. Kalen Ponga's got the trainer out there with him, having a little chat. And that was, once again, just way too easy. Way too easy there for the Knights. Matt Moylan caught out on defense. Just having a lazy grab. Sharks get us back underway. This will be a big period. A big period of play here. This is where the Sharks need to hold on. They were 6 points to 0 up, but I had the feeling that they were well behind in the context of the game. So if they can get to half-time still on an even keel, that'll be a decent enough result for them. Crossland now, dummies. Brayley wraps him up. A great one-on-one tackle. 57% possession to 43 in favour of the Knights. That's the funny thing, isn't it, Vopsy? Matt Moylan will probably go to Super League and absolutely tear the competition up. Just the difference at the moment is the kicking. Again, the Sharks are bringing the kick. They're bringing the kick out from 10 metres out from their own line. Much better kicking game at the moment from the Knights compared to the Sharks. Fabiu, ahoy there. Welcome along. The way that... look, honestly, the way that the momentum and territory and everything is going at the moment, it's hard to see the Sharks holding on. I think the Knights have definitely got more points in them before the break. The kick from Moylan straight down to Ponga. Ponga looks up. There's a wall of Sharks defense. But again, the territory, the Knights starting from outside their own 20, only barely, but still... they've immediately got that extra 10 or 15 metres off the back of a kick. So, yes, I would say that the Knights at the moment are just on top. Even though the scores are level, you just get the feeling that the Sharks, they're just holding on. And they could break apart at any second. Up into Sharks territory again they go. Now, Frizzell... or Saifidi there, sorry. Fifth and last. 40 out. Ponga puts it high into the corner. Another good kick. Another good chase. Although that one's just slightly... oh, it was just slightly too big. But Connor Tracy does not plant his foot down behind the goal line. So instead of a 20-metre restart, they're once again trundling this out from their own 10-metre line. And the Knights are just kicking them to death at the moment. Pinning the Sharks down in their own territory. Oh, and now the error. Here we go. Here come the points. Hazelton has just spilt it cold. Almost exactly the same position of the field as Wade Graham's mistake. And yes, it's just all the Sharks, as I like to say, they've just got their finger hovering dangerously over that self-destruct button, and they're ready to press it. And here come the Knights again. 16 tackles inside. Sharks 20 compared to the Sharks 3 up the other end. And here they go again. The Knights are scrummed down, 20 out. Gambles on the right-hand side. Gagai can't get away from Talakai. But once more, I think Knights winning the first half, Fabiu. They are just dominating field territory at the moment. And dominating possession. And the Sharks are now just starting to make a lot of errors. Tackle 3 here to the Knights. 10 out from the line. Big charge forward there from Saifiti. 2 more tackles for the Sharks. Can they hold on here? Oh, straight through. No, just taken down. 5 out from the line, 5th and last. Here's Ponga. Ponga with the crossfield kick. Dom Young. Young is taken by Talakai. Can he get the pass away? It's tapped back by the Sharks, and they just hold on. But once more, look at the field position. The Sharks starting this set a metre out from their own line. And the Knights have just got to be careful here not to give away the penalty. Mulatalo running crossfield again. It's tackle 3. They're 8 metres out from their own line. The Knights are just... there's the penalty. Oh, I've put the mocker on them again. I've put the mocker on another team. They've gone and given away the penalty, the Knights. The one thing I said they can't do, they've gone and done. And that is a relieving penalty for the Sharks. 12 minutes to go until the halftime break. I would still be leaning towards the Knights having the lead at halftime. Hazelton holds onto the ball this time as he goes up towards halfway on tackle 2. Brayley to McInnes. They've got shape out to the left here. Tracy steps back inside Gagai, but Gagai comes back at him. And the Sharks 30 out on that left-hand edge. Here's McInnes in midfield. Moylan, the inside runner, is a great one. A perfect line run by Niokore, I believe it was. Hazelton in support. Tackle 4, and here is Niokore. Has he got the ball down? Britton Niokore. Well, Britton Niokore has gone over. That's the second leg of my multi. And the Sharks out of absolutely nowhere. I apologise, Fabio, because the Knights were well and truly on top. The Knights had multitude of possession inside the Sharks' 20. And suddenly, out of nowhere, it's the Britton Niokore show. And there he is. Does he get it down? 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 For the love of God, tell me he has not gone and goofed this up. Can you believe this? He might not have put this ball down. Hang on. I can't put the tick up just yet. I can't put the tick up just yet because we are having a look at this. And if it's gone up, it's likely going to be scrubbed out. I don't think he's put the ball down. Can you believe that he has goofed this up? Oh, well, there goes my multi. Geez, I'm having some rotten luck with the multis this year. I am really having some disastrous luck with the multis this season. How many legs of my multis have been scrubbed out by the bunker? Well, I can't believe it. This one is getting rubbed out. And it stays at 6 points all. Big let off there for the Knights. And they're still on for the halftime lead. 11 minutes to go till the break. Some rotten luck continuing in multi-land. Flat pass there from Gamble. They're on the attack again now. The Knights have just cruised back down into the Sharks' 30-metre range. Good line run again there from Lucas. Fifth and last. 20 out in front of the post there. They come the short side here. Ponga puts a dinky little kick in over the top. The Sharks just stand back and watch it. And caught on the fifth and last. And that'll be a handover. UFC Only Fam says, remember when you had 3 or 4 the other night? How mad are you? The bunker cost you that daddy cash. Oh, yes. Now the Knights are challenging this. The Knights are challenging this call. Ivan, ahoy there, mate. So the Knights are challenging. The ball's been tapped back here by Bradman Best. No touch here from the Sharks. And this... let's have a look. Has this touched a Sharks player? You can't say conclusively from that. Insufficient evidence, so the Knights will retain their challenge, but the Sharks will get the ball. Shakafat says, would you call this playing down to your competition if you're the Knights, given their recent form? No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I'm obviously the harshest critic of anyone against my own team, but they're not terrible, the Sharks. They're not a terrible team. And the Knights haven't really beaten anybody good during their run of victories. So, I mean, what their biggest scalp was probably a severely depleted and horribly out of form Melbourne Storm. Would that be correct? So, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I reckon it's two very evenly matched teams playing a very evenly matched game. Fifth and last, Ponga up, gets a touch to it. It goes backwards. And Dominic Young comes away with the loose ball. Yeah, two very evenly matched middle of the table teams having an intense set-for-set battle. And you get the feeling that it's going to come down to just one or two big errors. And I would have to say, based on the majority of this season, the big errors are going to come from the Sharks. The Knights will have plenty of opportunities throughout the course of this game. Fifth and last now. Again, winning the territory battle. The kick will come from 40 out. Gamble puts it high into the corner. The kick chase is a flyer from Dominic Young. He gets through and puts pressure on Connor Tracy. And again, as they've been doing all day, pinning the Sharks down inside their own 10-metre line from the kick restart. And now the mistake. Well, there we go. Talakai wants to challenge it. And there we go. 8 minutes to go till the halftime break. The Knights, they are just pinning the Sharks down here and letting them make mistakes. And Talakai it is now who's come up with a big one. Losing the ball in the tackle. And here, yet again, another opportunity for the Knights. A full set of 6, 10 metres out from the Sharks line. The completion rate in the last 10 minutes, 5 out of 5 sets from Newcastle, 3 from 6 for the Sharks. And this last 10 minutes, on the back of that, has been all down this end of the field. You can't go through periods of play completing at 50%. Now play one from the scrum. Gagai beats one. Still going Gagai. Beats another. Gets the offload away. And the Knights are finally put down. 5 out from the line. To the left they go. Racing up out of the line there. Who was that? Putting a lot of pressure on his outside men now. But they force the Knights back in field. Now to the right. This is where they've looked threatening. They've got numbers to burn again here, the Knights. Gamble cuts back in field and tries to go on his own. They can't take advantage of the numbers, but they still look short down that right-hand edge, the Sharks. Hetherington on the crash ball. Nobody seems to notice how thin the Sharks are out on that right-hand defensive edge. Maybe now they have, because running back towards that side of the field, Clune takes the tackle. 5th and last. Gamble puts the kick through. It's taken on the full by Trindle. And they hold on again, the Sharks. Well, the Knights, you've got to say, really didn't take full advantage of that. 26 tackles they've had inside the Sharks' 20-metre line, compared to the Sharks' 6 down the other end. The fact that this game is still 6-all, I would say it's a testament to the Sharks' defence, but the Knights, they had that full set, basically, where the Sharks were so short down the right-hand side. Oh, now Connor Tracy's had his head taken off. That is a huge high tackle. It's been cleared by the referee. Oh, my God. Okay, that probably looked a lot worse than it actually was. But the referee has just completely waved it off. Let's have a look on replay. Oh, jeez. He's had his head literally ripped off. And the referee has said, nope, that's fine. Okay, and now a penalty to the Knights. The Sharks up offside. And I've got to say that that's a little bit of a load of bollocks, that is a penalty and 10 in the bin, most likely, every day of the week this season. Except for today. I felt like the Knights were getting all the calls in the Bulldogs game the other week. And you can't honestly see something like that and not think it again this week. I know, it's the ref is watching a different game. Now they've got them skidding on the right-hand side again. Dominic Young for the corner. And Braden Trindle puts his body on the line and knocks the big man over the sideline again. Braden Trindle is hurt, though, and this could be huge. The Sharks cannot afford to lose another half, because if Braden Trindle goes down injured, Matt Moylan will be running the show. And we don't want that. Braden Trindle puts the body on the line and stops the big fella yet again. But look at how easy the Knights are getting on the outside of the Sharks. Down that edge of the field. This game is intense. And the Sharks finally get a penalty. I still don't understand how there wasn't a penalty on that tackle on Connor Tracy. Potentially even a sin binning. But then again, it is Ashley Klein, isn't it? It's Ashley Klein. Let's remember that. Ashley Klein is in charge. Sharks on the back of a penalty last time. They nearly got over the line. Hometown music, ahoy! The Vincent Spears. Oh. Here they go now. The Sharks back inside Knights territory for the first time in a long while. Nakora. He wants his try back. Tackle 4. Brayley with the crash ball to Hazelton. 5th and last, 2.5 minutes to go till the break. Nakora goes for the line. He's held up and driven backwards. And the Knights hold on. And this is very solid from both teams. Mr. Ed's Dead says, one of the first games I've seen, the dude got pulled down by his ponytail. I was hooked ever since. 2 minutes to go until the break. It looks like we could very well be going in. Locked up at 6-all. The Knights have had their chances, though. Well and truly. Kelly Edwards, ahoy there. Racist commentary on Fox Sports. Don't know, I can't hear them. I don't listen to them, I like to do my own. But yes, the Knights. You don't like to say it when me being a Shark supporter, so I don't like to say it because it just sounds like I'm complaining. But the Knights really have been getting a lot of calls go their way. in recent weeks. A minute to go till the break. What will the Sharks do here? Will they fire a shot? Or are they happy just to go into the sheds all square here? Katoa falls. Pops the pass away. Risky stuff there. It would be very much like the Sharks to give the Knights one last crack here before the break. Moylan out the back to Trindle. And Talakai. There we go. Talakai comes up with the error. Talakai's having a dead set shocker out there. Tits for hands, Talakai. And he drops another one. And the Knights, they're racing to get the scrum down here. They're going to get one play on their own 40-metre line. They're going to have one play at it, the Knights. Kalen Ponga puts the kick across field for Dominic Young to chase. The bounce is tapped over the sideline by Mulatalo. It was on, though. It was on. And 6-all. Well, there we go. Unbelievable. I would have to say the Sharks would be slightly the happier of the two teams to go into the break all square because the Knights have just dominated this contest. High fives all around for some reason by the Knights. I don't know if they're just putting on a show at the moment for the cameras, but I would dare say that they can't be too happy with that, the Knights. The amount of possession that they've had inside the Sharks, that what was it, 20 plus tackles inside the Sharks 20-metre zone to be locked up at 6-all. I think the Sharks, whilst they're not playing well, would have to be slightly happier at the moment. They obviously need to fix up their game, but yeah, it's crazy to think the amount of possession and territory the Knights have had. They haven't been able to get the job done. But for some reason, Kalen Ponga's running around high fives all around from the Knights, apparently. Seemingly happy with that first half effort. I wouldn't be. The weight of possession and territory, they should have probably about a 12-point lead by now. But then again, I suppose on the flip side of things, they could easily have been behind as well, couldn't they? If Nikora gets that ball down, they could very easily have been behind. All right, Wasted Water Sports, 6 points all here. Ponga's just happy to not get a head knock. Maybe you're right there, Vobsy. Maybe that's it. He's like, yes, boys, yes. A whole 40 minutes. Yes. High five. High five. All right, Wasted Water Sports, halftime here. 6 points all. Thank you very much to our Wasted Water Sports All-Stars, made up of Patreon members, YouTube channel members, and Super Chatters. Thank you very much for your continuous support of everything we're doing here at the channel. And don't forget, there's merchandise out now. I've finally got off my ass and got merchandise up and running. So do feel free to check that out. There is a link to the store in the pinned comment up the top. So with the Wasted Water Sports Under Strength t-shirt, the Wasted Water Sports Take the Two t-shirt. Ironically enough, had the Knights taken the two earlier on, they would be ahead right now at the halftime break, potentially. All right, halftime here. I'm going to have myself a quick break, and we'll be back to dissect a very, very tough first half encounter between these two teams that are essentially both just making up the numbers for finals time, let's be honest. In the meantime, what should we do? Should we hear from Clint Gutherson?
Jason Bourne, just want to give you a huge congratulations on your win. It's hard fought. You've worked hard for it. It's been a long year. and to finish on top of the table, it's huge. So congratulations, mate. I know you're a huge Eels supporter as well, and I want to say thank you so much for the support. But congratulations again, and go the Eels.
Wasted World of Sports. Halftime here. 6 points all. I can't believe that it went to the break all square. The Knights have had their chances. Some of the statistics... Hang on, let me try and say that again. Some of the statistics will make for some very interesting reading. Not very good reading if you're a Sharks supporter. So the Knights ahead on possession, 52%, 48. I actually thought it might be a little bit higher in favour of the home side. But the big one here for the Sharks, 70% completion rate. Completely unacceptable. The Knights going at 78%. I dare say they won't be too thrilled about that either, but at least they're there. They're around the average mark. You want to be up as close to that 80% mark and above as possible, don't you? So 70% is nowhere near it. The Sharks are way off the pace at the moment. They're the team making the most errors. What else have we got here? Missed tackles will be an interesting one. Have we got missed tackles? Missed tackles, 26 by the Sharks. An 86.99% effective tackle percentage. Not good enough. 7 errors, 3 penalties conceded. And that is why the Sharks have really been under the pump. But, to their credit, they've held on. The Knights have just failed to land that killer blow. The knockout punch. But if the second half carries on the same as the first, you just feel like it's only a matter of time. And if the Sharks leak one, a couple more could follow very, very quickly. Gamer Mel, ahoy there. How has this game been so far? The Sharks have been abysmal, really, it must be said. Apart from a couple of moments in the game, they've just been terrible. And the Knights have played more than 20 tackles the Knights have had inside the Sharks' 20-metre line. So how in the hell it is 6-all at halftime and the Knights are not ahead by 12 or more points is unbelievable. I really can't understand how this game is level at halftime. I really can't. But it's been a pretty intense match. Back and forth. You get the feeling it's just going to come down to 1 or 2 mistakes. And so far, throughout the course of the game, the Sharks are the team making the mistakes. So if they don't tidy up in the second half, it could really start to open up. And the Knights could end up winning this game quite comfortably. Nico Hines, of course, is a huge out for the Sharks. Let's not forget that. I guess you could say that the Sharks are under strength. Oh, what a great segue to promote the Wasted Water Sports Under Strength t-shirt. Now available at poptillyadrop.com.au, the official merchandise store of Wasted Water Sports. Well, I shouldn't say it's the official merchandise store of Wasted Water Sports. It's the official merchandise home of Wasted Water Sports as the teams get ready to come out onto the field for the second half. 6 points all here, all square. Both teams hit the reset button and get ready to do it all again. On the multi front, it was looking good for a moment there. Nikora got over the line, but then he failed to get the ball down. The try was awarded. Viking Axis still tipping the Knights down. Yes, the Knights, despite the 6-all scoreline, the home team have been well on top in territory, in just effective play all around. I do have the Knights ahead. And as I was saying just before, Viking X, I can't believe that we're all locked up at halftime. Who's your caddy? Ahoy, mate. Last night's problem fixed. I ordered my Take the Two shirt today. Cheers, Dan. No, cheers to you. Who's your caddy? Our first sale. Thank you very much, mate. Literally number one. Our very first t-shirt order. Huh? I wonder, actually, I might be able to. I wonder if I can include. I'm going to see if I can find out. I might be able to actually include. I mean, it's a silly little thing, but I should include in your order an actual card that says Western World of Sports, order number one. Who knows? It might be worth something one day. You never know with these things. All right, second half is underway. And the Knights have first use of the ball. The knee crumbler, ahoy. Hope you've had a primo weekend. Oh no! Connor Tracy bobbles the ball, but he manages to recollect it before it hits the ground. Oh, some nervous signs there. Some nervous moments for Shark supporters everywhere. Geez, you don't want to make a mistake off the first kick of the second half. And this game, as I said, it could come down to just one or two big mistakes, and there was nearly one right there. The Sharks look most likely when it comes to making mistakes. That's for sure. Brayley now scampers out a dummy half, finds some extra meters around the ruck there. Fifth and last. Trindle on the blind side puts this kick high. Ponga takes it on the full. And there is a wall of Sharks defense in front of him. And he brings it back to the 20-meter line. And again, that's where the Knights are just on top in this game. I continue to point it out because it continues happening. The Knights are just ever so slightly on top in the kicking game, which is winning the territory battle for them. And that's really been the big difference between the two teams thus far. Saifidi with a big charge. Up into Sharks territory on the fifth and last. Gamble. Tyson Gamble. Not Tyson Campbell. Gamble puts the kick into the corner. And once again, I have to point it out. Look at where the Sharks are starting this set from. 10 out from their own line. It's all game. They've just been pinned down here. The Knights kicking game. They are absolutely... Tyson Gamble and Kalen Ponga are just kicking the Sharks to death. And they can't launch any attack. Quick play of the ball though. Moylan on the front foot. Brings Ramian back on the inside line. Fifth and last. Now, let's watch the Sharks kick in return. There's no kick chase to speak of here, and Ponga puts the foot back and takes it on the full. And here they come back to the 20. And once more, I don't need to say it anymore at this point because it's just been happening all game. Just terrible kicks from the Sharks. And now a penalty on the zero tackle. And the Knights are just going to waltz straight back into Sharks territory. And the second half has started very much like the first ended. And the Knights, here we go, a full set of 6 that will start 35 out from the Sharks line. Just looking to assert their authority on this game now on the scoreboard. The Knights looking to be the first team to score. The Sharks appealing for an error there in the play the ball. Nothing coming from Ashley Klein. More pressure for the visitors. Saifidi cuts back in front of the post. Offloads to Clune. Clune keeps it alive out to the left. They've stepped straight through here, the Knights. They're over the line. They're held up and driven backwards. Oh, they've nearly gone over there, the Knights. Now Crossland. Ramian's come racing up out of the line. Tackle 4. There's still 10 meters out here. Still pressure on the Sharks. Ponga takes the line on. Offloads to Frizzell. Frizzell beats the first tackle. And Brayley brings him down in the second attempt. Fifth and last. Ponga puts the grubber kick through. And that's another good kick. And another result. It's going to be a goal line dropout. And the Knights just continue to kick the Sharks to death here. Perfectly placed grubber into the in goal from Kalen Ponga. And Connor Tracy has no choice but to run it over the dead ball line. Now, for the love of God, don't do some silly short dropout. Surely they don't go short here. And they don't. Trindle gets dangerously close to the sideline with that dropout, though. And a big charge here for the Knights. Beating the first up tackle again. Marju it was. Frizzell, who's looked very threatening every time he runs it. They're inside the Sharks 20 again, the Knights. Elliott, dummies, goes on his own. Tackle 3. Looking for a quick play the ball. The Sharks do well. Are they numbered up on this short side, the Sharks? They are for the moment. Tackle 4. But look where the Knights are. 10 out again. Saifidi takes it on tackle 5. He's charging towards the line, dragging defenders with him. 5th and last, a metre out. Clune has the ball to Gamble. Out the back. They've got the numbers here, the Sharks. The kick into the face of Mulatalo and into touch. That will surely be deemed not played at and be Sharks ball. And they've held on again somehow. Once again, the Sharks just refusing to break. In the face of... he has literally kicked it right into his face. The Falcon of all Falcons. 58 tackles the Knights have had inside the Sharks half compared to the Sharks 30. 33 of them inside the Sharks 20-metre line. How is this game still 6 points all? The Sharks have just been under the pump constantly. And they're getting absolutely nothing from Ashley Klein out there. Fifth and last there, Graham is cut down. And they are just in the Knights' side of the half. Trindle puts it high. It's very close to the sideline again. Trindle is flirting with the sidelines. Now Ponga beats 1, beats 2. Kalen Ponga, he's through. He's got 1 to beat. He beats Trindle. He's still going, Kalen Ponga. And he's taken down. And now, look at where the Knights are. 20 out from the line again. Numbers to burn on the left. They don't go out there, though. They don't pass it out. And now the Sharks have managed to get everybody back in defense. But now Clune puts Bradman Best straight through the gap. And they had to break eventually. You just can't defend all game and expect to stay in it. You have to crumble eventually. And the Knights have finally broken through the Sharks' wall. Kalen Ponga, he's beaten 1, 2, 3 incredibly lazy attempts at tackle. He's returned the kick about 60 metres upfield to put the Knights on the front foot. And this is what I said at the top of the stream. Kalen Ponga could suck all season long, but he will fire when he comes up against the Sharks. There is something about the Sharks that just brings Kalen Ponga to life every single time. And I expect it to really open up now. I think the Knights run away with this game now. The Sharks are just a bloody shambles at the moment. An absolute shambles. And I think this really opens up now for the home team. The worst possible start to the second half for the Sharks. Kalen Ponga with the conversion from right in front. Oh, it's not right in front. Okay, it's a little bit further out than I realised, but still an easy kick. And over it goes. The Knights are ahead 12 points to 6. Big start to the second half for the home team. And again, it just comes down to the kicking game. Comes back to the kicking game. The Knights just dominating territory and possession. So it looks like week 1 of the finals is going to be a rematch of Broncos Storm and a rematch, potentially, Knights Sharks. Interesting. It's amazing how that seems to happen. So often that seems to happen. It's quite crazy, really, how often you get those quick repeat games come playoff time. 5th and last here, the Knights on the back of points. They're back inside Sharks territory. Ponga puts the kick up. It's another beauty. And Tracy is thumped as soon as he catches it. And once more, look at where the Sharks are starting this set from. 10 out from their own line. The Knights again, just kicking them to death, not giving them an inch. It's been absolutely perfect, really. The Knights kicking game has been near perfect. Katoa gets the pass away to Mulatalo. Some helter-skelter stuff here from the Sharks because they need to just break this rhythm. At the moment, it's just the Sharks starting every set from 10 out from their own line. They're not even getting an opportunity to launch an attack. Trindle to Graham on the 5th and last. This is something a little bit different. And Wade Graham, that's probably the most effective kick from the Sharks all game long. And it came from Wade Graham, of all people. And the Knights will start 15 out from their own line. Controlling this contest now, the home team. Now that they've got the lead on the scoreboard, they are just controlling this contest through the middle. Up over halfway they go again here on tackle 5. Back into Sharks territory. Now watch the kick. Ponga's waiting down the short side. Puts it high into the corner. Tracy moves forward, takes it. And they're right there to meet him once again. It's just the perfect game plan. Completely shutting them down. Brayley, quick play the ball, finding some lazy markers. And now finding an inside runner from Ramian. Ramian fires a very risky pass across the face of the defense. And it bounces kindly for Wade Graham. But geez, do they realize they're only behind by 6 points? I don't think they do. They're playing like they're behind by 20, the Sharks. And I understand it. They're trying to break the rhythm. They're trying to make something happen. But they're only behind by 6. 5th and last, Sharks, 30 out. Trindle will run it again to the line. Dummies, still going Trindle. And he's caught, fires it back to Mulatalo. To Brayley. Now there's some broken play. Oh, you've got to get the kick away, you great big idiot. Who the hell was that? Jesse Colehorn. You've got to put the kick away. He was moving in slow motion, and he's been absolutely thumped and knocked the ball on, and has just gifted the Knights about 20 metres. Unbelievable what I've just seen. Nico Hines cannot return fast enough. I have never seen a 5th tackle play out in slow motion before. Now I have. And here are the Knights, now 30 out from the Sharks line again on the 5th and last. And they're about to be pinned back down their own end of the field. The Sharks gamble, Again, the high kick to the corner. Mulatalo takes it. The defense is there to meet him. And the Sharks once more starting the set 10 out from their own line. Oh, and Mulatalo's hurt his knee there. Mulatalo's bumped his knee. Keep an eye on that. Not that Mulatalo is honestly a huge loss, to be perfectly honest. Now Tracy runs across field. And he is picked off by Bradman Best. Fifth and last here, the Sharks inside their own half still. The Knights have just gone up a gear here. Moylan's on the blind side, puts the kick down. It's going to be taken on the full from Ponga, and he can return this. God only knows where. He's met in a solid wall of defense this time, and they put him on his back in a dominant tackle. 25 minutes left in the game, but you just feel like the Sharks aren't even in the contest at the moment. Whatever the halftime talk was from Fitzy, it obviously did nothing. I've seen no change or improvement one way or the other since the halftime break. Fifth and last now, the Knights. Up to halfway. Clune. The high kick into the corner. Katoa takes it, bobbles it. Threatens to pass it across the face of the defense. And a wall of Knights defenders to meet him. And hazard a guess, chat room, as to where they're starting this set from, the Sharks. From their 10-metre line again. The Knights, just a dominant kicking display here from Clune, Ponga, and Gamble. And now Nikra, he wants a challenge. They've lost the ball. You've got to challenge it. You've got to challenge it. And they will captain's challenge it here, the Sharks. But, yeah. I don't think anything's going to go against the Knights. It hasn't in recent weeks. I don't see any reason for it to start now. And there is the error. Once again, the error. Oh, well, Crossland's come around and raked that ball out. The Sharks might actually get this one here, the Sharks. Crossland's got hands all over the ball there. And a fairly clear raking motion there by Phoenix Crossland. Oh, well, yeah. And, of course, the call goes the way of the Knights. Loose carry has been called. Challenge unsuccessful. And there we go. There is the error from the Sharks. And here, again, I feel like we're watching replays. A scrum down for the Knights. 20 out from the Sharks line in front of the posts. I just feel like we've got 10-minute segments of this match on replay. They've come with a very effective game plan here today, the Knights. And they have just completely shut the Sharks down. Kicked them to death and shut them down. 10 out from the line again. More tackles inside the Sharks' red zone. Thompson, crash ball in front of the sticks, tackle 3. They're up quickly out. Oh, that's a mistake there from the Knights. It's gone backwards, though. Of course it has. Of course it has. And the Knights will still retain possession. Tackle 4. 10 out. Ponga. Out the back to Gamble. Oh, they've got shape out to the right, and Dominic Young will cruise over in the corner. And the Knights on the back of some more questionable refereeing decisions in their favour week after week, launch themselves into a comfortable lead now in this one. And now the scoreline is just starting to look a little bit more like the domination of the statistics. $16 points to 6, kick to come. Why did I not have Dominic Young in my same game multi? Vobsy says refs are the real winners of this game. It's there's no way for me to say it without it sounding like sour grapes, but I said the same thing the other week. The Knights Bulldogs game was very questionable bias towards the Knights. And there's been some very questionable calls again in favour of the home team today. It must be said. But you can only play what's in front of you. And the Sharks are just not playing. 16 points to 6 it is. Kick to come. Ponga from the sideline. It's hooking back. It's hooking back. They can do no wrong today, the Knights. Kalen Ponga can never do any wrong when it comes to playing the Sharks. 21 minutes to go. 18 points to 6. And that scoreline now is just looking a bit more like the reflective of the statistics. A little bit better reflection of the actual match statistics. And and they probably roll away with this one now, the Knights. The Sharks are not a good team at standing up in the face of things not going their way. They have a tendency to just fall to pieces, the Sharks. So it'll be interesting to see. The Knights could roll away with this now. Well, there's a mistake from Dominic Young, and of course this one's a penalty to the Knights, because why wouldn't it be? The Knights make a mistake, they get a penalty for it. The Knights strip the ball out down the other end of the field. It gets called a loose carry and a knock-on. And here they go, up over halfway again for more pressure. Absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely incredible. AFBOCC, the NRL is only using the one ref system as compared to the two ref system that had been in place prior to COVID. The two ref system was a little bit confusing though, wasn't it? It was a little bit of a mess, in fairness, so I'm more than happy that we've gone back to the one ref system. The problem is the referees are terrible. That's the problem at the moment. The standard of refereeing is just atrocious. And that's the problem. I don't think it matters whether there's one or two or three out there. They're just terrible. Tap back in field, and here's another try coming here for the Knights. Oh, no! Toby Rudolph has done just enough. Although we're going up to have a look, so who knows? It's going up as no try. It'll be interesting to see what the ruling is here. I dare say the way the Knights have been getting all the calls go their way in recent weeks, that this one is probably a try. But once again, the Sharks starting the set 10 out from their own line. No, you are not listening to a soundbite that I am replaying over and over again. I'm actually saying it over and over again. The Sharks, once again, starting a set 10 out from their own line. Refereeing in the NRL is equal to goal umpiring in the AFL. Incompetent. I'll have to take your word for that one, AFBOCC. I shall definitely have to just take your word for that one. Last night, after the stream, the Broncos-Raiders game, when Michelle was here and we popped the AFL on, that is the most AFL that I've watched in a very long time. We watched the end of the Bulldogs Geelong game. Here we go, Sharks. Their best attacking range in a long, long time. Tackle 3, 20 out from the Knights line. Can they strike back in the face of adversity? Moylan across to Trindle, onto Wade Graham, and Graham is cut down by Tyson Gamble. On tackle 4, the 10 out. McInnes taken in front of the post on tackle 5. Fifth and last. Here they come to the short side. Trindle puts the grubber kick in. This one's too heavy, and it's going to be a 7 tackle set to the Knights. And again, the kicking. All comes back to the kicking. The Knights put that into the in goal perfectly and get a goal line dropout. The Sharks give away a 7 tackle set. And then Craig Marshall has fallen over his own feet. It looked like a cartoon. And that is the difference between the two teams. The kicking has just been atrocious kicking game from the Sharks tonight, whereas the Knights have been pinpoint perfect. Here they are now, the Knights, the home team. Cracks appearing everywhere in midfield for the Sharks now. Front football. Oh, they've got numbers to burn, and that's forward. That's how far forward could a pass possibly be thrown from Kalen Ponga? For the love of God, how far forward can a ball possibly be thrown? The try's been awarded. Kalen Ponga's been taken out in back play. Kalen Ponga's hurt in back play. Watch this pass. This pass goes about 17 metres forward. Jesse Ramian has actually laid out Kalen Ponga. I don't know what we're even looking at here. It's a fair shot. I don't even know why the Knights are blowing up about it. Kalen Ponga's been taken completely fairly. That is a completely fair tackle. But what's not fair is the 17.5 metre forward pass that's just led to that try. And the Knights continue to get away with murder week in, week out here. Oh, tell me the NRL don't have favourites that they want to get into the finals year in, year out. It's the Knights' turn this year. And you can understand it. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can completely understand it. Look at the turnout here in Newcastle. Selling out stadiums every single week. Sell out, sell out, sell out, sell out. You completely understand why they want a finals game here in Newcastle. But I mean, geez, at least try and make it a little less obvious. Try and disguise the fact just a little bit. That's an absolutely fair tackle from Jesse Ramian. I don't understand what we're even looking at here. It wasn't late. The arms wrapped around. It was just a good, solid hit. We can't help it if Kalen Ponga's made of matchsticks. Harden up, princess. What we should be questioning is how far forward that pass was, and nobody saw it. The referee was there, the touch judges were there, and nobody saw it. That's what we need to be looking at here. Dane Gagai stepping up to take the conversion. I don't think I've ever seen Dane Gagai take a kick. And that's probably why he's missed it. He's missed it to the left-hand side. Ponga is still out on the field. He doesn't look happy, though. He's still clutching that shoulder. 15 and a half minutes left in this game. The second half, they've kind of made it obvious who they want to win, it must be said. AFBOCC says would have made Patrick Mahomes proud. Sharks go for the short kickoff. It doesn't make the 10, and this will be a penalty on halfway to the Knights, and they'll be straight back down into Sharks territory. That self-destruct button, the self-destruct button, it's officially been pressed. Self-destruct has officially been pressed, and the Sharks have just been absolutely killed tonight with the boot. That's what it's ultimately come down to. Referee decisions aside. I don't think the Sharks still win this game because they have been absolutely kicked to shreds by the Knights tonight. You can't win a game of footy starting every single set 10 metres out from your own try line. The refereeing has just added to the blowout in the scoreline. But, you get the feeling that the Knights have just been on top pretty much from start to finish here. It must be said. Now, they've got numbers to burn to the left. Again, there's gaps appearing everywhere now in the Sharks' defence. Fifth and last, a couple of metres out from the line. Again, Clune runs across the face of the post. And Marju will score. Greg Marju will score another one for the Knights. And we are going... That's another leg on the multi done, by the way. Another tick on the multi. And the Knights are coming for fifth spot in the ladder. Fifth spot on the ladder and a home final. A home final potentially against the Roosters, Vopsy. And you can completely understand it. You really can. I mean, look at the crowd. Look at the crowd that's been turning out there to Newcastle every single week. You completely understand why the NRL wants a final to be played there. Totally understandable. Chris Webb, ahoy there. You need Mulatalo for your multi. Not looking good. Well, fingers crossed. There's 13 minutes left in the game. Can Mulatalo get over? Mulatalo will get over to win your multi. And Mulatalo could go over to save my multi and get my bet returned. I get a bonus bet back if Mulatalo or Nikra go over in the last 12 and a half minutes. Who's your caddy? Says, I reckon it's worth putting $1 or $2 on the Sharks next week. They're due for a win against the Raiders. Overdue, actually. I disagree. Who's your caddy? It is the biggest of hoodoos. It is the absolute biggest of hoodoos. The Sharks against the Raiders. And based on today's performance, they've been given the blueprint. Adam O'Brien and the Knights today have given the blueprint. Just kick into the corners, chase hard, pin them down, and the Sharks have got absolutely nothing coming out of their own end. So, I dare say Ricky Stewart is watching this game very intently. I think it will be a long, long day for the Sharks next weekend. 12 minutes to go in this one. 26 points to 6. It really blew out. But the Knights, you got that impression. I mean, I think I said that at halftime, didn't I? You get the feeling if the Knights get one, it'll just really open up because the Sharks are only just holding on. And then the floodgates well and truly opened, didn't they? On the back of some contentious calls, to put it nicely, some contentious decisions. But despite that, the Sharks just have not fired a shot today. They have been completely nullified in every facet. Badly missing Nicho Hynes. Nicho Hynes has got that X factor that could have potentially broken them out of this situation. 100% Vobsy, 100% Nikola's try rubbed out. I would have at least had something to cheer for the next 11 minutes. Fifth and last Sharks, once again, they end their set on halfway. The Knights will return this to 20 or 30 out. And that's been the big difference between the two teams today. The Knights' kicking game has been perfect. Perfection from the Newcastle Knights with the boot. Tyson Gamble, Kalen Ponga, Adam Clune. Perfect. I don't think they've buggered up one single kick. Every single kick has either yielded a result or it's pinned the Sharks down 10 metres out from their own line. Whereas on the other side, all the Sharks' kicks have been terrible. There's only been one effective kick, and that was by Wade Graham. And now the gaps continue to appear in midfield as the Knights just roll on back into Sharks territory. And on the attack, Gamble again, a perfectly placed kick, a great chase, and a result with the knock-on. And the Knights have just kicked the Sharks to absolute death here in Newcastle tonight. Perfectly placed kick. Pressure on the kick chase. You get a result. Vobsy says Roosters Knights if the Roosters beat the Rabbitohs and the Panthers beat the Cowboys. There you go. Oh, straight through Matt Moylan goes Dane Gagai. Oh, Matt Moylan. You always knew that the Sharks were on a hiding to nothing when Moylan was here. And now a penalty. And another full set of 6 here. 10 out from the Sharks line. It's just been an absolute death. Have the Sharks honestly touched the ball outside their own half of the field? The Sharks' entire game tonight has been running out of territory and then putting a kick in on halfway. I have never seen such a dominant performance where one side... this is like watching a game of Rugby League Live 4. Rugby League Live 4, where you just absolutely kill the AI opponent. Eight minutes, 16 seconds left in this one. I don't really understand what we're looking at here. So the Knights now knock the ball on over the try line, and it's been deemed a rake by Toby Rudolph. So it's going to be a goal line dropout. This has just been so horribly biased. Once again in Newcastle, everything is going the way of the Knights. You have to ask some questions. I know, I understand it sounds like sour grapes because it's my team this week, but I said the exact same thing the other week in the Bulldogs game. Some serious questions have to be asked here. Come on. Wow. I have been left speechless a lot this weekend by some of the refereeing decisions. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely unbelievable. Wow. 7.5 minutes to go, though. The Knights, once again, this is not a soundbite that's on repeat. The Knights are on the attack. 10 out from the Sharks line. Just a dominant performance all around by the Knights. Helped out by the officials to create such a big gap in the scoreline. But they've been largely dominant anyway. And now another result, another perfectly placed kick. And the Sharks have to knock it dead. And another result for the Knights. Once again, just absolutely kicking the Sharks to death. I don't think I have seen such a perfect, dominant kicking performance as the Knights have delivered tonight. Walnut Hills, ahoy! Shack of Hearts, ahoy, mate. My deepest condolences, Dan. Walnut Hill says, will the Raiders make the 8? Well, they should, because they've got the Sharks next week. So, they should. The Sharks are now in a little bit of danger. Especially if they leak more points inside this last 6 minutes. Tackles up their sleeve again. It's just a training drill at the moment for the Knights. Clune again holds the pass up. Gagai takes on Jesse Ramian. And Ramian wins that battle. 5th and last. 5 out from the line. Back to Clune. Clune. Another perfectly placed kick. Pressure and a mistake from the Sharks, although it's gone backwards this time. Backwards off Mulatalo this time. Ahoy there, Boom Saton. Welcome along. Thank you very much for the follow. Nickera is, Britain Nickera is out there. And Brayley is still out there as well, I believe. Yes, there's Brayley. There's Brayley there at dummy half. And once again, the Sharks start a set from their own 10-metre line. 5th and last. They're going to run it here, the Sharks. Wade Graham on the inside line puts the grubber kick in. And the Knights start a set again, dominating the territory battle. Tackle 2, 40 out from their own line. The Sharks badly missing Nicho Hynes. Nicho Hynes has not been in the greatest of form since the State of Origin. But, geez, bad form or not, noticeably absent. A very noticeable absence out there in attack. Now here's another try. Dylan Lucas breaks through and scores another one for the Knights. The midfield defense of the Sharks just fell apart in their second half. Nico Hines picked up a strained quad in training and was replaced. Matt Moylan came in to the starting squad, which, for anyone who knows anything about the Sharks, you know that Matt Moylan being in the starting side is an absolute disaster to begin with. So Matt Moylan... No, Ponga's off. Ponga got absolutely smashed by Jesse Ramian. A perfectly legitimate tackle. A perfectly fair tackle. Yeah, Ramian put the hurt on Kalen Ponga. The Knights blew up about it. The Knights had a big blow up about it. But, hey, you can't go soft on Kalen Ponga just because the guy's made of matchsticks. Who do I think will win the grand final? Panthers Storm. Panthers will win. Everyone else is just making up the numbers to the Panthers this season. He's hurt himself, Dylan Lucas. Dylan Lucas has just busted his leg during his try celebration. Oh, that's hilarious. I mean, you hate to see players get hurt, but when they get hurt in such funny style, he's still hobbling around in back play. Oh, God. I actually think the Cowboys probably win next week. Boom Saton. I do think the Cowboys probably win next week because I imagine that Ivan Cleary will be resting some key players for the finals. I am not convinced for 1 second that the Panthers care about the minor premiership. They've got their eyes on bigger prizes. So I think the Panthers rest some key players next week again, like they did this week. And they're more than happy to lose again and finish in the top two. That's the key. Bag a home final. Whether you finish first or second is irrelevant. They'll get a home final either way. So I think Ivan rests some more players. And the Cowboys are a good chance next week. And another penalty here to the Knights, of course. And the Sharks, if this score continues to blow out and they get smashed by the Raiders next week, the Sharks have not beaten the Raiders in the last 9 or 10 attempts. I can't remember. 9 or 10 in a row. The Raiders over the Sharks. They're in a little bit of trouble. Their for and against is falling to pieces here. And they could actually drop out of the top 8 come next week. I also believe, Boom Saton, I believe that the Melbourne Storm rest a lot of players next week as well against the Broncos. And I've made a very bold prediction that whoever wins that game next week... Jesus. Did everyone hear that? That was a car epically backfiring out there on my street. Whoever wins next week between the Broncos and the Storm, I believe, loses in week 1 of the finals. Wow, that was intense. Alara's going off. She didn't like it. Vobsy says car farted outside your house. 27 seconds to go as this one winds down to a close. It's been a very dominant kicking display tonight by the Knights. They have just pinned the Sharks down inside their own 10-meter line all night long. And it's been a very, very dominant display by the home team here. 32 points to 6. Boyd Connell says, after the Knights beat the Dragons, who will they verse? Well, the Knights will finish in 5th. I said before the stream, well, not before the stream, I said before the game, when the stream first started, I said my bold prediction is whoever wins this game guarantees 5th spot on the ladder. This was the battle for 5th spot and a home final. And the Knights have secured now 5th spot, in my opinion, and a home final. And they will most likely play potentially the Roosters in week 1 of the finals. Potentially. What are the other options? Let's have a look at some of the other options. Let's try and figure this out now, because that has just shaken up the finals a little bit, that result. So the Knights with the win there. All right, so next week we've got Broncos Storm. I honestly think that Craig Bellamy rests a lot of people. Jay Joe, ahoy mate, how are you doing today? I honestly think Craig Bellamy rests a lot of stars next week. So the Broncos, I'm tipping to get the win over the Storm. A depleted Storm. Sea Eagles Tigers in the Who Cares Cup. Rabbitohs Roosters is a massive, massive game. Massive game. So if the Rabbitohs won, they would... Yeah, if the Rabbitohs won and the Knights beat the Dragons, the Rabbitohs would jump up to 6. And the Roosters would be gone. And the Raiders would fall down to 8. But then the Raiders, if the Raiders beat the Sharks would fall down to 8th. And it would be the Knights versus the Sharks in week 1 of the finals. Oh, there's so many ways this could play out. If the Cowboys beat the Panthers, they would have to beat the Panthers by quite a large margin to overtake the Sharks on for and against. Oh, there's so many ways this could still go. The most likely of scenarios... Okay, well, here's another option. Here's another option. The Roosters beat the Rabbitohs. The Panthers beat the Cowboys. And then you would get Newcastle at home against the Roosters in week 1 of the finals. And the Sharks would fall down to 7th, regardless of the result against the Raiders. If the Sharks beat the Raiders, the Panthers beat the Cowboys, and the Roosters beat the Rabbitohs, the Sharks would end up in 6th, and they would have a home final against the Roosters, who would potentially leap above the Raiders, and it would be the Knights versus the Raiders in week 1 of the finals. So there's quite a few ways that this could play out. But either way, I think it's safe to say that the Knights today secured themselves a home final. They've secured 5th on the ladder, because the only team that can overtake them now is the Sharks, and that is only if they lose to the Dragons next week. If the Knights lost to the Dragons next week, and the Sharks, let's say the Sharks lose to the Raiders, the Dragons beat the Knights, Panthers beat the Cowboys, Roosters beat the Rabbitohs, then you would have the Knights finish in 6th, the Sharks in 7th, and it would still be Knights versus Sharks again in week 1 of the finals. There are so many there's so many different ways this could all still play out in the prospects for the finals. But I'd say the most likely scenario now is the Sharks finish in 7th or 8th spot. I can't see them beating the Raiders next week. I really can't see it. I'll tell you what's going to be interesting, though. I actually think... Oh, Stephanie, stay funny, Steph, ahoy! Oh, you're going. Sorry, I do apologise. I didn't even realise you were there. My bad. I was so engrossed in all the possibilities for the finals. So yeah, there's still a number of ways that this could go. A multitude of possibilities. So we'll just have to wait and see, won't we? What I find interesting, I'm going to give you a red hot tip here. A red hot tip. Dragons to beat the Knights next round. Next weekend, Dragons to beat... Actually, what's a pain? Because I'm deadly serious about this. I am dead serious about this. Let's see what it's paying. Right now. I might put a bet on right now. The Knights are guaranteed a playoff spot. 100% now, yes. 100% guaranteed a playoff spot. Everyone else is in a little bit of risk. No, I'll get to my reason in a moment, Shack of Hearts. I just want to see the price first. If it's available. I don't think it's available yet. Where is it? Dragons Knights. Not available yet, I don't think. Anyway, I want to find out what the odds are, because I'll tell you, I don't think it's going to be Knights resting players, Shack of Hearts. I think it's going to be the Knights have been playing the last 8 weeks. Haven't they been playing the last 7 or 8 weeks on a Sunday afternoon? This is going to be their first Saturday night game for about 7 months. Red hot tip. I reckon the Knights are not going to know what to do outside a Sunday afternoon game, and the Dragons will pull off the upset at home at Jubilee Stadium. Red hot tip. The Red V to come through, because the Knights are going to be like, what the hell is that? What is that up there? Is that the moon? Is that stars? Where's the sun? You heard it here first. Keep an eye on those odds, people. Trust me, keep an eye on those odds. Dragons to knock off the Knights. The Knights will not know what to do with themselves playing a night game. Waste World Sports, thank you so much for your company, as always. It's been another big weekend of action. Very much appreciate your company. And thank you very much to the Waste. Hey, it happened to the Broncos, Shack of Hearts. I called the Broncos' loss earlier in the season when they suddenly had to play a Sunday afternoon game. I said they won't know what to do because it's not nighttime. And I got that one right. This one's just the opposite. The Knights won't know what to do because it's not a Sunday afternoon. Red hot tip. Keep an eye on those odds. All right, Wasted World Sports, thank you so much. I'll catch you guys next time. Wednesday night, Generations Podcast, Episode 2. The old Panther and myself will be reflecting on the game day experience. Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, Episode 2, Generations Podcast, the game day experience. Then, now, and future. Thank you so much for your company here tonight. Very much appreciated as always. Catch you guys next time. Until then, cheers. And I'll try and find out what all this commotion is going on outside the house at the moment. His ass is hanging out as he makes a break upfield. Stepping back on. Oh, he's copped a head right to the nuts. Cameron Munster's now putting his balls in Nick Meaney's face.
I have no idea what the Wasted World of Sports is.